Hi, my name is Alex Moyle. I'm a sculptor, and you're visiting my studio at Rockcliffe, Smythe neighborhood. And I'm very fortunate to have this space and also to work on a project called To the River. So I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and before arriving to Pennsylvania, I lived in Tucson for 6 years, and that's where I learned a bunch of skills about, I worked for other sculptors and things. And I met my wife during that period of time. And she, anyway, I ended up coming to Canada for silly romantic reasons. And I'm actually very happy to be here in Toronto, and I'm actually very fortunate. When people do these big projects, it's actually very difficult to find workspace within the city. So I was fortunate to find this quiet space tucked away behind the community garden in the back, which I really love, and it seems to be very copacetic with my work activity to find this sort of quiet but industrial space to do my work. And I've been here over 20 years. I have a daughter who's a Canadian, and I really like being in Canada. I find it very fruitful to work on small maquettes. And these maquettes aren't about detail, so it's not about fingernails and eyelashes. It's about trying to create an overall composition. And when you work small, that you can do that and you can quickly modify. So if I have something that I believe is emoting or telling the story that I would like to tell as a composition, then I'll perhaps explore enlarging it, making it more of a commitment. 3 figures. This is called Repose. And To the River is a project which explores using reeds and sort of morphing the reeds into water gestures to describe sort of an invisible current, which I'm using the streetscape to suggest that. So I'm using the buildings as rocks in the river, and how perhaps a current would flow around those buildings and lead down to the Humber River. When I was imagining this invisible current, I started to wonder what the current was like. Was it slow? Was it fast? And the way that I answered that was to incorporate 3 figures. So this one's called Repose. Parts and pieces of a larger sculpture that includes 5 full-scale sculptures that will be installed on Bloor Street, west of Jane, so on the embankment of the Humber River. I've been fortunate in the last 15 years to be able to propose some of my own artwork, and the skills that I've acquired have been given to me by the generosity of others that have hired me. Started my sculpting career as an apprentice potter, and at the age of 15 I was making clay and glazes for a series of a bunch of potters, 5 of them, and from that experience I learned that there was not much of a romance in art. It was actually going to take just a lot of hard work. I continued my studies at the Philadelphia College of Art, where I got a degree in sculpture. And then from there, I worked for many other sculptors and artists and designers as an artisan to complete other people's visions. So I definitely have a few pieces in the city that would be considered public art. So I have a pair of bronze owls at the McKee Public School in North York, and then I used to have a hummingbird on the Hummingbird Center when it was the O'Keefe, then it turned into the Hummingbird Center, and now it's the Sony Center. I have some stainless steel snakes on a bridge in the Humber River, and I have Dormez-vous, Are You Sleeping? At Meridian Towers in North Finch and Yonge, and I have a wonderful children's ceramic relief that's part of school in Cambridge, Kinsman Center, which is counting, sort of a counting poem, counting relief. So it goes, one mother turtle with one baby and two mother fish with two babies. And they're all suspended in sort of a fanciful tree.